Welcome to No Mama Grow Mama with your host, Naledi Stones, where we discuss all topics related to health and wellness for you and your family. In this episode, I'm chatting with Jennifer Matthews, the Chief Salsa Mama at Salsa Babies. I really love to sit down and talk with people about their lives. I love to hear what it looks like in someone else's world. And so Jennifer shares with us what life is like owning Salsa Babies, especially as a work-at-home mom, and sharing the business with her partner, with her spouse. So I hope you enjoy it. I think my favorite part of the whole episode is when Jennifer is talking about what self-care means to her, which is really neat because it's a different take on what I would have always thought about self-care for myself. Enjoy. Hola, hola! Wearing my Salsa Baby sweater this morning. I felt like it was appropriate because I'm sitting down talking to Jennifer Matthews, our Chief Salsa Mama at Salsa Babies. Good morning, Jennifer.
I am very appropriate for Ontario today because it's freezing outside. We just got snow the other day.
Yeah, I felt like that too. I was like, oh, I can't get out of my sweats this morning. So it's kind of like I was wearing it anyway. Yeah. But I get to say, oh, there's a reason for it.
And it's snuggly too.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. This is exciting.
It's fun. Yeah, I love chatting with you. I always learn a lot from you about like your life and about in terms of like being an entrepreneur now and work-at-home mom. So I'm really glad to be chatting with you. Can we start by, I did introduce you as the Chief Salsa Mama, and I'd love to know more about that, like why you always choose to say Chief Salsa Mama. Are you trying to not be like this is a Jennifer Matthews show and you know that you are the owner of the whole company? Like what's the reasoning behind always introducing yourself that way?
For me, so it's kind of started as I've been with the company for a very long time. I've not always owned the company. I was a mom when I first started. I saw Salsa Babies on TV and I had just had my baby and I don't like to sit still. So I was like, oh, I'm doing this. And I did it and I got addicted to it and I loved it. And then I became an instructor for the company. And then shortly after that, I became a licensee for the area. So it's kind of like a franchise for the area where I was living. And I actually only just bought the company just over 3 years ago. And so when we bought the company, it was like, well, what am I? Owner is kind of like, that title never really kind of sat for me. And so because we're a corporation, it was like, well, like CEO, no, that's not at all my personality kind of style. So what am I? Well, what is the part of the company I love the most? I love my moms. I love dancing. I love my instructors. I love helping them sort of figure out weaving through all of this. And because I've done it all for 10 years, I've played literally every single piece of our company, from being the mom, seeing it and saying, yes, I want to try it, to now being sort of like the leader for the company. Chief Salsa Mama to me just says, while it is the leadership position, I am still a mom and I've done sort of all the different roles within the company. So it's just more fitting to me, and it's not so official, I guess. It's just more fun, which is really who I am. I'm so laid back and relaxed and I just love what we do. So that's where it comes from.
Right. I love that you are our leader too. I can't really imagine it any other way. Honestly, like I'm sure that someone else could come into the role, but knowing a little bit about you as well, I mean, some of your past roles, you know, your past positions kind of like gave you skills that really make you a great leader, because you do see yourself as like, I feel like you are our guide. Like you give really great support you've given great support to me, you know, in terms of like navigating how to start my own business. And I just can't picture it any other way, you know, like having somebody, like I think about other companies, if it was like a CEO person sitting in their desk and not really doing what we're doing, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that you've kept going with like your classes and everything too.
Well, and I think for me, it was important when we decided to buy the company. So my husband also works within the company as well. So that's when I say we, for everybody else who doesn't know, I know Naledi knows, but when I say we, it's my husband and I. He does all the stuff I don't like to do, and I get to do all the fun stuff, the stuff I like to do. And it was important for me when we took over to really look at the company that we purchased. And I remember what it was like being an instructor, and I remember what was missing for me. And I remember looking at the program and saying, I really wish we did more of this, and I really wish we had this. And I really wish, these supports were in place. And so when we took over, I said, I know what it's like to be an instructor. I know what it's like to be a licensee, and to not feel certain things, or feel that certain things were missing, I guess, too, is a better way to say it. And I am very cognizant when we make decisions for the company of what the impacts would be on the instructors and our licensees. And I also, being that I still do teach and I still manage my own area, make a very awareness, I guess I'm very aware of the impact that certain decisions will make. And sometimes sometimes there's just not a choice. It just has to be done for the company because we need to move in this direction. But I think my husband and I work really good together because he is the very business, like no fooling around, no nonsense kind of person within the business. And then I'm like, well, but hold on a minute. Like, if as an instructor, this wouldn't work for me because of this. So I think it's a great position to be in. And I really like the balance that we have in the company, because I can always maintain that role of being able to say, yes, this is the direction we need to go, but let's tweak it a little bit, because as an instructor, I would want it this way. So that's just kind of how we do it. And hopefully we'll be able to always maintain that as well.
Right. Even that to me is like so fascinating, like how Houston, your husband, his background is supporting small businesses, right, to get started up. So I just think it's like so neat, like how this all came together so amazingly.
For us, it's really, I'm a big believer in sort of the meant to be way. And we don't have time to talk about it right now, I'm sure. But even my journey to deciding to become an instructor, I do not have a background in dance. So many years ago when I took the class, I loved it. And I have rhythm, even though I'm white, I have rhythm.
Amazing hips too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have rhythm, but the hips came with practice. That was because anyways, whatever. That's a whole other story. When I had the opportunity to come on as an instructor way back when, I can't do this. I don't know anything about Latin dance. I have no dance background. I've never taken a dance class in my life. Now, my husband and I have been together since we were teenagers. So he is from a West Indian culture. So dance and music are very big there. So a lot of the fluidity in my movements comes from that. But I was not convinced I could do that until someone said, gave me a little pep talk. And then from there, it really is an interesting story how all of the roles and my journey with this company have kind of presented themselves like this, and basically take it or leave it, your choice. And we've always said, okay, let's do it. Yeah. So
life is interesting like that.
Yeah,
I think most people would find stories like that they've like been led in this path to whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, totally.
Can you talk a little bit about working with your spouse? I can't imagine that, like having, living together and working together, especially on your own business.
Yeah.
You're like, I imagine you must be like always together.
We're actually not.
Okay.
Which is, it's good and it's bad. I think it's a lot of who our personalities are. I think that's why it works. And when it doesn't work, it's also because of our personalities. So I am and you will know this, I'm sure, because you've probably seen, I'm pretty headstrong. I'm pretty direct. I'm pretty, let's go. We have to move now. We have things to do. And my husband is very sort of laid back. Like, we complement each other in that way, because I can be on him to get things done, where he will just be like, you just need to take a step back for a second and think about this. So we complement each other. But that's not to say that it's always easy, because it's not. The spending time together, that's always been easy for us. Even with our kids, we do everything together. So like, if somebody has an activity, everybody goes together. When one goes, we all go because we all support each other. That's just the way we wanted to raise our family. And my husband and I so we've been together almost 20 years. Like I said, we got together in high school. And we have always had a goal and a vision for ourselves of both working from home and both being self-employed, because we want to be able to do the things we choose to do with our kids. So if we want to be able to go on school trips with them, we need to be able to have that flexibility. My husband, just like myself, wants to be there to put them on the bus in the morning and wants to be there to take them off the bus in the afternoon. So that was always a goal we had for ourselves anyways. We had wanted to do it by the time we were 40. And we did it by the time we were 37. So yay for us. We're really excited about that. But it's not easy. That's not an easy thing either. But yeah, working together has been, the being together all the time doesn't seem to be an issue. Like, we both have the ability to turn the business part on during the day and turn it off at night. And I think we've kind of just maneuvered through that as we've started to do it. But yeah, it's not always easy. Do you find that there is some, like, if you have you said you have the business on during the day and it's off at nighttime, you don't find like it interweaves together at all? The only time it really does is, so we make sure that most every day, usually around 5 o'clock, we sort of have a routine set up for ourselves that I've usually cooked supper by then. And usually at 5 o'clock, we make it a mission, especially more so when it's nice outside, because then we can get outside away from the kids. But for an hour every day, we try for an hour every day to just be him and I, and the kids are well aware of this. So it's like, okay, mommy and daddy are going outside to have a coffee, or we're going outside to have a drink, or, you know, whatever we're doing, it's just the two of us. If you need us, if there's an emergency, you can come get us, but otherwise we'll come back in when we're done. And so they've kind of, this is mommy and daddy's time. We don't tend to do a lot of date nights. We'll go out for lunch or supper together every now and then, but that's sort of our time. So it does play over in that aspect, because both of us are really passionate about business, and not even necessarily just our own business in general. So we like looking at other people's businesses, and we like looking at new trends and stuff like that. And that's, as boring as it sounds, that's stimulating conversation for the both of us. But it's interesting because we get to sort of play ideas off of each other, or say, oh my gosh, I heard about this today. Have you ever heard about this before? And we get to kind of talk about it. That's what stimulates us. I know it's not for everybody, but business will come into it in that way, but that's just because that's kind of stimulating conversation for us. So yeah, other than that, not really. Business doesn't sort of play into it, unless it's something like the kids may say, hey mom, I saw a Salsa Babies video on YouTube today. And then, you know, we might talk about business with the kids, because we're passionate about teaching them the self-employed life as well, just so that you have another option. But other than that, not really.
No, I think you touched on something too, and you said it won't be the same for everybody. You know, like my husband and I really don't have like highly intellectual conversations together when we like have our time. I think it's like, you know, and you are doing a little series as well now called Jen's Bubble, because we just did we taped something for it last night together, and my sister as well, Tamu. And you're like, the point of that series, right, is about like every family does do it differently. And, you know, I think what's beautiful though is when, you know, you can take the time to really plan out, what do you want your family to look like? What works for me? What do I love? And I know for myself and my husband, like for us to have an hour to ourselves during the day would never happen.
Yeah. But yours are a lot younger though too. Your kids are a lot younger. Mine are almost 11, almost 9 and 5. So it's something we've had to work towards. If mine were your age, no, that probably wouldn't happen.
Right.
That's just something we've been able to start doing in the last couple of years.
Well, I was going to say, we have like couch time after bedtime.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we go and like collapse there in a heap. Like we can just stare at the wall together or stare at the TV together. But yeah, then you just like, you make it work however you can for your own.
Totally. Yeah. And the Jen's Bubble thing really is about my own little bubble. So Houston and I always laugh because it's funny when you watch conversations or hear people talk and they talk about their own circumstance as if it's just, this is generally the way it is in the world. And you really don't know what you don't know because everybody does live in their own little bubble. So that series is really just talking about my own little bubble. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know how I didn't know that.
Right.
But that's what it's about. It's just a funny little series.
Yeah. I love it. It's cool. It was fun to do it, to tape that little episode last night. Cause that episode was the three of us talking about our own bubbles. So
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about being a work at home mom and how that looks for you exactly, right? Like, having to work and do mom things at the same time is very challenging.
Totally. It is. And it changes as your kids get older.
Right.
So what my work at home mom day looked like when my kids were like 5 and 3 and not here yet is very different from what it looks like now because they're older. When they were little, there was a lot more required of me. I couldn't necessarily work so I get up, you talk about going to bed. When the kids go to bed, you go in a heap on the couch together. We used to do the same thing, but now that mine are older, it's harder in the evenings because they're older. They stay up a little bit later. They need their time to talk and work through life and stuff like that. So I tend to go to bed really early. I've always been like an early to bed, early to rise person. I like to be up by 5 because that gives me a couple hours to work before the kids get up and need me in the day. And then we'll do whatever, like if they have school trips, it's important to us to be there, to be on the trip with them, to experience that thing with them. But it's also important for me to go in and be present in the school. So I will go in and help in some of the different classrooms. And it doesn't even have to be my own kids' classrooms. It can be just any classrooms to go in and help and read with kids, mainly just because I want my kids to know I'm in the school. And if there's a problem in the school, your teacher will know where to find me. And I'm here. And I think that's been really, for my kids, that's been important to know. Yeah, all the kids know Mrs. Matthews. So that's a good thing. And it's important that they know that I'm going to be there once or twice a week. And if they need anything, I'm there. So it's changed a little bit. That's the way it is now for us. It's always, like I kind of said before, it's always been important to me that I'm there in the morning to put them on the bus, as is my husband, and I'm there at night to take them off of the bus as well. Those are really important things for me. Home cooking for my kids is another important part of that. So that's having the flexibility of being a work at home mom works really, really well for that, because sometimes I can cook their meal in the morning. If I have, not a lot on my plate in the morning, I can cook it and prepare it, and then I just have to push it in the oven later to cook it. Sometimes it's a slow cooker thing, or sometimes it's, if it's a crazy night for us, I can make supper at 3:00 and they can eat as soon as they get home from school. So that's what works for us. That's how we kind of have it set up. I love the flexibility. I can't imagine, and I would never go back to working for someone. I can't imagine not having that flexibility just to be able to do those things. I can work when I need to work. I can be a mom when I need to be a mom. I can go down and be a wife to my husband if he needs to bounce something off of, if he needs to bounce something off of me. I can't imagine not sort of having that flexibility when I need it.
Do you think it's about really having like a strict structure and like a really thought out plan, like every day, you have to execute these exact things in this certain time, or is it just really flowing all day long?
It is totally flowing all day long, because there's a whole other dynamic in life that you just can't control. And Houston and I laugh about it all the time when we see other people struggling online. Like you just, when you have just those really bad days, and whatever you believe in, karma, fate, God, whatever, is telling you today is just not your day. Right? We really pay attention to those days. I used to fight them and try to work through it, because you have to keep working. It's not going to work. I found in those kind of days, my communications with instructors are horrible. The conversations never go the way I want them to go. They may come off sounding horrible when that's not what I meant at all. So it is definitely for us a flow, because those kind of days will pop up and I'll be like, as soon as I see it come up in the morning, there's a resistance of some kind there. No, I'm not. Today is not a working day, because what I work on today, I'm only going to end up having to clean up tomorrow.
Right.
It's just not going to be the way I need it to be. So those are the fun days. So my husband and I will, if it just so happens that he's having a similar kind of day, we'll go out for lunch. I'll clean the house, because then I don't have to do it on the weekend. I can work on the weekend instead. But yeah, it's totally a flow for us. And with 3 kids in school as well and busy with activities, it's hard to really plan out your day every single day, because you just never know what's going to happen, with kids getting sick and just all kinds of stuff. I have a to-do list and I have an idea of what I want to kind of get done every day, but hopefully it happens within the week instead of the day, if it's just so much stuff going on. Yeah, it's totally a flow kind of thing. I have an idea of what I would like my day to be like, but it very, very rarely works out like that.
That's lovely to hear someone that is at the head of a company say that, because, being a small business owner for myself, it feels like I think maybe it's just I'm putting the pressure on myself. It feels like you just have to just keep doing these things, because if you stop, when you are the business owner, everything feels like it's just going to shut down if you stop for a minute, so
I think it's about the standards though that you put for yourself. That's not to say it's not to say that I don't need to get these things done, because I do, and I need to get them done in a timely manner, or my instructors are going to be like, what is wrong with you? Like, there's no support there. I remember what it was like having no support, and I don't ever want that for my instructors. But does that mean that, if today's a really busy day and my kids are homesick and they need me to snuggle with them and I need to be a mom today, that it's okay that I put off those communications for 24 hours? For me, it is. That's okay for me. And so I would say to people coming on with our company, this is how we operate within the company. Our family and our business are very much intertwined for us, and both are a priority. It just depends on what the bigger priority is that day. And so my kids, same thing. Sometimes work is so busy and this is a pressing matter that mommy has to deal with, and daddy's just going to have to take over for the day and mommy's going to have to go work, and I will see you tomorrow. And that's okay. I'm okay with those choices in my business, but the alternative is the same too. If I have a kid that's homesick and he or she's really not feeling well, my computer's not going on. I'm going to be snuggling with my kid and making them feel better. So,
yeah, that's lovely. Yeah. That's what balance is all about.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about always, choosing how much you're going to do this time and whatever. It's just, I think it is just about letting the flow happen.
And it does, like, let's be honest though, too, in order for the work all to get done, it has to get done. So sometimes I will have to stay up, if my child has been homesick during the day and I've needed to snuggle with them and take care of them and do whatever, then that might mean that after they go to bed, I might have to stay up till midnight and get some stuff done. Like, there is that balance, because I do have responsibilities to manage with the business. And a lot of times, we will work a little bit on the weekend. So we'll get up early Saturday morning, and my husband and I might work till 10 o'clock, Saturday morning for 5 or 6 hours, before we start our weekend with the kids. For us, it's a balance. Like, the work does have to get done, but our kids are just as important and our family is just as important to us. So, I think that's kind of the shift. That's what works for us. I know that doesn't work for other business owners. They want to have set business hours, and nighttime is for the kids and weekends is for the kids. And that's okay too. I mean, I think whatever floats your boat, this works for us. I want my kids to see that we are really invested in what we're doing too. So they need to see that sometimes mommy and daddy have to work, even if it's supposed to be Saturday morning and, we're supposed to be watching cartoons together. Sometimes, not every week, but sometimes that's what has to happen.
Right. The next thing I want to talk to you about, I recently reclaimed the saying, being full of yourself. You know how we usually use it in our culture, like, we use it like someone's being arrogant, they're so full of themselves.
Yeah.
But especially with doing this No Mama Girl Mama series, I've learned that I kind of need to be full of myself, but in a positive way. Like, I have to, the saying, like, you got to fill your cup up. You got to fill yourself up first, and then it overflows and it flows into the other areas of your life. Do you feel like you need to do that, like make a conscious effort to really be full of yourself and fill yourself up before you can go out and do? Because your life sounds so full. I'm thinking about, where do you fit you in, and is that necessary for you?
The full of yourself is such a loaded, tough question for me, because I take it sort of two different ways. So the first way I take it is, it was a struggle for me when I took over the company to say, why would anybody care who you are? Who the heck cares who Jennifer Matthews is, right? You're nobody. Nobody cares. But as I've grown with the company, I've really realized, no, it does matter. I have stories to share, and they're important, and I have experience that I am more than willing to share. So to keep me balanced and level and able to share and to help, that's a hard one too. So the me time thing has never been, and I know people are probably going to be like, you got to make time for yourself. It's not a priority for me right now. Before I had kids, my husband and I used to work out every single day. You know, we would make sure that we would go out and have a nice dinner out every once in a while. Working out and being healthy is still a priority to me, but it's not something I'm prepared to not spend time with my children to do. And definitely my cup is full. We do a lot with our family. And am I prepared to take time away from my business to go work out at the gym? No, I'm not. Am I prepared to not be there when my kids wake up in the morning so I can be at the gym? No, I am not. Am I prepared to take time away from my business during the day to go work out at the gym? Not right now, because we're in a growth stage and there's a lot of people that need my help, and I have to be able to do that right now. Am I prepared to not be there to have a conversation with my husband at 5:00 to go work out at the gym? No. So for me, taking care of myself is really just doing what I value right now. Because when I can accomplish the things I value right now, which is being there to get my kids off the bus, being there to help them get ready in the morning, spending that hour with my husband every day, I can cook my family their meals. When I can just do the business owner stuff and the mom stuff, that fills my day up already. It would be more stress for me to try to find time to do those things. And it wouldn't be worth it. It would actually be counterproductive to me right now in my stage of life to try to fit in something that pampers me or takes care of me. I've never been someone who, likes to go get facials or, manicures, pedicures. That's just, I am not that kind of girl. I have a garden. When I garden, that's not good. No, I can't have a manicure and go and garden. That's just not right. I think for me, really taking care of myself is being in the moment of where I want my family and my life to be right now. I'm very happy with the business that we have. I'm very happy with the flexibility that we have with that. And I'm really happy with how my kids are growing up and the time we get to spend with them. That's what fills my cup right now.
Right. It's funny because, not funny, no, what you said wasn't funny, but we were talking about self-care before. And I think I was the one that brought it up to you. And you started talking about how you don't like the term self-care. And it wasn't why I didn't ask you it that way before, but it was something in that you were talking just now. I'm like, oh, this is what you were talking about.
Self-care drives me crazy.
You don't like the term self-care?
I hate the term self-care. There's two terms in this life right now that drive me crazy. The first one is self-care, and the second one is mompreneur. We won't even get into mompreneur today. I hate that term. Self-care drives me crazy because if you don't do what's classified as self-care, and it's those things like going to the gym, that are typically stereotypical of self-care. So going to going to get your hair done, going to get a facial, going to get a manicure, going to get a massage, all those things. If you don't do those self-care things, does that mean you're not taking care of yourself? No. Self-care is exactly what you just described. It's what fills you up and makes you whole and makes you happy and makes me get out of bed every day and say, woohoo, today's Monday, right? Like that's, for me, that's what self-care is. But it's so stereotypical to go out and have to do stuff and spend money on your body. That term drives me crazy. The whole concept behind it of taking care of yourself, making sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're being active. I teach so many days in the week and I go for walks. That's what my self-care is. My dog just passed away. My biggest thing right now is I don't have a dog to take out for a walk. Like, if you want to talk about self-care, that's what I need right now to take care of myself, is I need to get another dog so that I can go out and have my walks again. That's self-care to me. But we have monetized self-care. And if you don't put money into taking care of yourself, that means you're not taking care of yourself. I hate that term. I hate it.
See, for me, I've never really thought about the term self-care before in that way, but for me, because we are all different people, I really do need like checking out time by myself. And it's actually checking in time with myself because I'm very introverted. I have to sit in a quiet room, away from everybody, away from my phone, to really like have time to like contemplate and think and whatever, lay still. It looks different for each person. And it's really,
and I need that time too. That's why I take my dog for a walk. I need that peace and quiet. I love, I used to work in Toronto, so I had an hour drive each way to work. I used to love that drive because I love thinking. I just love being able to work things out in my head. I need that also. Like, noise in my house with kids drives me crazy if I can't have that hour to sort of figure everything out and get it sort of worked out and smooth. But I think that's all part of self-care. But I don't think a lot of people look at it like that. I think a lot of people, use that terminology to give themselves permission to go out and do that kind of stuff. And that's totally okay. If that's how you take care of yourself, that's fine. But that terminology should also be used for a lot of different things that aren't going out of the house and getting your nails done, right? Like that's why I don't like the term, is because it really, for a lot of people, is about spending money and doing things to take care of yourself, which there's way more parts of your body than you could spend money on to take care of yourself.
Yeah. You mentioned it, mompreneur. We are going there for a good reason. Because we have talked about this before, and there's a good reason why I want you to go there and talk about it again. And you just reminded me, I wasn't going to mention it before. So start with telling us why you don't like the term mompreneur.
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying that I know a lot of people, because it's a big catchword right now, love that term, right? There's groups all over, mompreneur groups that work together and boost each other up in business and that kind of stuff, which that is awesome. I love that as a business person, you have a group to go to that you can run ideas past each other, find resources, get support, have a place where you can go to talk to each other, especially if you're a self-employed, like single entrepreneur. You know yourself, sometimes it can be very alienating to just be on your own with all of this. So to have some place to go to talk to other like-minded individuals is a must, I think. To slap the term mompreneur on that makes me want to vomit, because that makes it seem like the only reason you're in business is because you're a mom, or the only way you're going to be successful is because you're a mom, or the product you're selling is because you're a mom. Why can't you to me, that term diminishes being in business for yourself. Because if you're not a mom, then you can't be a part of that world, or you're either going to be successful because you're a mom, or you're not going to be successful because you're a mom. It's like the women in business sort of mindset as well. For me, I'm not going to be successful because I'm a mom and I'm in a mom-based business or mom industry. I'm going to be successful because I'm really good at what I do. My kids have nothing to do with that. Me being a mom has nothing to do with that. Me being successful at what I do has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a woman. I'm either going to be successful at it because I'm smart and because I keep learning and because I keep pushing, but certainly not because I have boobs. That term drives me crazy. You're in business or you're not in business.
Mm.
That's why it drives me crazy. And I understand that it works for some people. And if it works for you, awesome, have at her. For me, it does not work for me. I am not successful or lacking success because I'm a mom, and I'm not successful or lacking success because I'm a woman. I am a person who is in business, and I'm either going to be successful at what I'm doing or I'm not. Drives me crazy.
Now I can't remember why I thought it was really important to talk about it, but I'm glad we do talk about that, because you're right. Like, it's not dependent, although I do sort of still feel like, I mean, the reason I got into Salsa Babies was because of my children. So it was my motivator to really have a great first session, was because I'm like, okay, I've got kids, I can't let this fail. But you're right, it's not why I continue on with it. Like, this is about my own self-development and, you know, taking myself and my experiences to the next level. It's nothing to do with having breasts or having a uterus and having children. And
right.
Yeah.
And your success or lack of success in Salsa Babies is not going to be because you have children. You chose to do Salsa Babies because it was flexible enough of a business that you could manage as a person to also facilitate staying at home with your children, which is another desire that you as a person have. You want to be a stay-at-home mom, right? Or you want to be a work-at-home mom. That's a desire that you have. Salsa Babies is just a tool to do that, right? Like, that's the defining thing for me. It's not, you're not going to be successful or not successful because you have kids. Right. We have instructors who don't have kids, and they're very successful with their classes as well. It has nothing to do with kids or no kids. It's just a tool for people to use to be able to facilitate that lifestyle that they want. And they want to be able to be the ones to be at home raising their kids.
No, I like that. And I like, you know, just that you mentioned it, that you don't have to have kids to be a Salsa Babies instructor. That's not one of the qualifiers for joining the team. Yeah.
No, it's not. Not at all.
What really does fuel your success? What do you think helps you? Like, how do you always have such great ideas for the company and this like really clear direction that you always want to take the company in?
That's a tricky one. I would say I don't always. If I think back just since we took over, I knew when we took over that I really wanted to change. I have to be careful how I say this. I really wanted to change the way the company and the class was running. I wanted it to be more. I wanted to focus on the safety, because I knew as an instructor before, when I did not own the company, that was lacking for me. There was not clear training on what we should and should not be doing with moms who are wearing their babies. A, for the safety of the moms, and B, for the safety of the babies. So that was always lacking for me. I knew that was something that I wanted for the company. We really need to start that conversation and have those conversations about, there's just sometimes some stuff that you should not be doing wearing your baby. So that was sort of a priority for me, making sure that our instructors felt better supported. When I was under the company before as an instructor, I never really felt like if I had a question, there was someone I could go and ask, or somewhere I could go and ask. I always felt like I would be intruding and being a pest kind of thing. And that frustrated me, because I had to, when I was my own instructor, I had to work through everything myself. So there was nowhere for me to go and ask questions. I had to really build the business myself and learn how to do all those things myself, because there was nowhere for us to go and just say, hey, I'm thinking about advertising here. What do you think about that before I invest the money? So that was a change that I wanted to see as well. I feel like our instructors really need, why can't you learn from all of us who are doing these things? And that's not to say you're going to have situations come up that we can actually help with, because one-off situations, you know, maybe we can never deal with, but in general, there should be a place where you can go and ask questions. You don't have to always make those mistakes yourself. You can learn from other people's mistakes. But I would say not every idea I've had since we took over has been a good one. I think it goes back to the flexibility thing, right? Like, you have to be comfortable and flexible to try things. And my instructors and our moms will tell us whether or not it's a good idea and whether it's working. And if it's not working, then okay, we get rid of it. And maybe it's just the way we did it, and maybe we'll revisit it in the future once we've thought it through a little differently. But no, I wouldn't say that I always have great ideas, but I'm not afraid to try though either.
No, I don't think it's about always having great ideas, and it definitely is about allowing yourself to try and fail and learning that as well. That's a challenging one.
Totally.
But how do you always I guess I'm wondering how do you always know the next thing to do? Where do the ideas come from?
I invest. Okay, so I will give credit right here. My husband, Houston, the business side of things, he is a voracious reader and researcher, and there's never a down time for him because he is always on. Plus, I mean, he's helping other small businesses as well. He's not just working with Salsa Babies. So he needs to know sort of where trends are going and stuff like that. And having those conversations with him and I, we can kind of figure out what that looks like for Salsa Babies. Is that a path we need to take? Is it something we need to look at? Not everything is going to work for our company, but I think if we kind of know what's coming and sort of start trying to be ahead of all of that. But I also take a lot of, for my own self, I know how I like to learn, and I know when I take courses of a certain kind of caliber or nature that allows me to listen but think at the same time, that is inspirational for me because I can go and take those courses on what's upcoming and changes and stuff like that. But I can also, as I'm taking those courses, think through what that might look like for Salsa Babies. And then come back and sort of plan with, other instructors or with Houston, how we kind of make all that stuff happen. So that's important for me, is to go out and do some seminars and stuff like that.
Right. So just being around other businesses. And again, it's so amazing. The partnership with you and Houston is pretty incredible. Yeah. That you can just, especially to have a close relationship with somebody in business, that you can have the nitty gritty conversations with them, because you might not have the same dynamic with someone that you're having to hire out to do that for you.
And we're Houston and I are both part of separately, and we're also part of one together. We're part of some different business groups. We pay to be part of a mastermind kind of group online. So we're part of a small one, but then we're part of a bigger one also. And then he has some of his own as well. And those are great places. If the group is a match for your personality, which these ones really are, that's a great safe place to kind of say, hey, this is what I'm kind of thinking. You guys know a little bit about what I do. What do you think? That's a lifesaver for me sometimes too. So yeah, that's how I do it anyways.
Can you give any little hints as to what we can expect next for Salsa Babies?
So much. Yeah. We have so much on the go right now, too much on the go. And I am very much let's just do it all. And we'll go with the flow. There is something before the end of the year with the Salsa Kids program. Very different than what is already available. There is there's 2 brand new programs, I would say within the next 18-ish months, in the works right now. So there's some new programs coming out, especially for licensees. It'll be an interesting one to add to the mix for you. It is nothing like what we already have. Nothing.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This has been a really fun chat, and then my brain is thinking about oh my God, what's coming? It's so exciting. It's being part of this company is like Christmas all year long, because there's always fun little things that are coming up, new videos or whatever.
Yeah.
But to summarize, to kind of conclude our beautiful conversation now, do you have 3 pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share with new parents? Or it could be new parents, it could be new business owners. Do you have some things that you want to share with us? It could even be summarizing what you've already said.
3 things. Okay, so I would say one thing I've learned about myself that has been incredibly beneficial to myself and this company is being very accepting and being very true to who you are. And it sounds fluffy and yeah, everybody says that, but when you really are self-aware, and you accept who you are and your gifts and your flaws, it just makes life so much easier. When I first took over this company, I said it before, I was like, nobody's going to care. Who is this big girl who knows how to dance? Who's going to care about her? I struggled with that. And when I really sat back and I was like, no, man, no, I'm really good at what I do. I'm really good at what I do. And I embrace who I am and my flaws and my, what I'm really, really good at. It has just made this journey so much easier for me. And my flaws, I get somebody else to take care of those kind of things that I'm not good at. And what I'm really good at, then let's go. Like, I'm really good at this. I am not giving that part up. I am good at that. I'm keeping this. I want to keep going. So that's one. Being self-aware enough to look at who you are and love who you are. One of the blogs and video blogs that I've done was called I'm a Hick. And I was nervous to do it at first about being a country girl. So what kind of country girl owns, you know, a Latin dance salsa company, right? That's a little odd, but you know what? I don't care. This is who I am. This is what makes me me. I'm real. I'm natural. It is what it is. I don't go out and get my nails done. I go out and play in my garden. I have a huge garden of vegetables and stuff for the summertime. I love animals. I love going out and playing in the dirt. We go camping. That's me. It's what makes me me, and I'm totally okay with that. So that's the first one. Second one, let's do business. I think in business, the one thing I've learned is that it takes time, period. It takes time. If you're rushing it and pushing it, it's not going to be as good. And that's for anything. It takes time to learn the places you need to market and advertise. It takes time to really define what your business is and what you're comfortable putting out as your business. It takes time to be comfortable in your role. And I think making mistakes and being comfortable with that along the way really solidifies that. So that's the second one. It takes time. It takes time. And the third one, probably to do with being a mom, I would say, is our house is crazy. Even though I need peace and quiet to function in my own brain, our house is never like really quiet. And that's okay, because someone told me a long time ago, if you want your children to be quiet when they're at school or activities or wherever, you have to let them just be crazy when they get home, and you have to let that out somewhere. Okay, totally get that. So my house is always a mess and I hate it, but they are happy and they're functioning. And yes, there's probably dirty dishes in my sink right now, and there's Lego all over my living room floor, and my bathroom is probably a mess. But I'm happy. My kids are happy. We're working. We're all functioning. I would say you just have to sort of figure out what works for your family and be comfortable with that. You can't compare yourself to other families because everybody's got different life experiences. Everybody's got different places they want to be and go in life. What works for you will not work for me because our life experiences are different. Our history is different. Where we want to go is different. But I think being open and accepting and understanding of how different people live will make you grow as a person, because how you specifically do it may not work for me. But if I look at how you do it and take the basis of that, I can modify that and make it work for my family. So I think being open and aware of how different people live will only help you and your family grow in a respectful manner. So I don't really know how to title that one, but that's just something I've learned as a mom. Yep, my house is a mess. So's yours probably.
Yeah.
So no judgment. I don't care. You shouldn't care. Our kids are happy. And just sort of watching around in the world around you to learn how you can make your family be the best family you want to raise.
Amazing. Always lovely talking to you. Seriously, true. Like, I love talking to anyone that's open-minded and that's just about like living the best life that they possibly can. So I always love talking to you. I always learn something and I always feel uplifted talking to you. So thank you so much.
Yay. That's life, right? Like I don't let things get me down. I do not feel good when I have down days. I do not feel good when I see negativity, and I have made many years ago a conscious effort to, that crap is not coming in my life. I'm going to make every day good. And that's why taking it back to like the days when you really struggle in business and things just aren't working and you can't make a dent in it, done. Okay, let's go find something better to do with the day, because otherwise I'm going to be negative and cranky, and that's not going to help anybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, thank you again so much for giving me your time this morning.
No problem.
I hope we've all learned a little something from Jennifer as well and enjoyed this fun conversation.
Besides the fact that she's just a little crazy.
We are all a little crazy, but again, that's what I love, that you let it out. If we all just let it out, we'd all be the same, right? Just different levels of crazy. So let's
be comfortable with your crazy. Just be comfortable with your crazy. That's
comfortable with your crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jen.
No problem.
Okay. Bye.